Hey, how's it going? Today I'm going to show you how to make a weighted piston for your Vsr-10. Now this can be used for a few different things. You can add weight to the piston if you need to lower your FPS to a legal field limit. A weighted piston can also be used for reducing sound or to experiment with joule creep. There are so many variables, so all of that is for another discussion. But let's stay on topic for making the piston weights. Here's what you need. Your piston. The one in this video is an edgy model. A micrometer, some painter's tape, a set of pliers and or vice grips, a variety of tubing in different material, which I will go into more detail here shortly, and last but not least, some form of Dremel and grinding tools that can cut metal. Here's a full list if you'd like to screenshot it. We are going to start by making one of the weight sleeves for the piston. For the material, steel is a good, heavy material to add some nice weight. Aluminum is okay, but it's a lot lighter. I like to use carbon fiber as a baseline weight sleeve if I ever want to return the piston to its normal weight. Anyway, take your micrometer and measure the body of the piston where the diameter is the smallest. Whatever you measure, round up to the nearest millimeter. This piston measures over 16 millimeter, so when I order tube to make the weights, I will order 17 millimeter inner diameter. For the outer diameter, I wouldn't go over 20 millimeter because it may not fit into your cylinder and then it will not work. You can find the tubing material on eBay or Amazon. In this case, you'd search 17mm ID steel tube or whatever material you want. Check your local hardware stores as well. Just make sure the inner and outer diameter are correct. Now let's move on. You need to cut a section of the tube to fit over the body of the piston. Mark it and cut it so it fits here. Use pliers or vice grips to hold the tube while you cut it. If you cut your hands or fingers, it will really hurt and it will also be your fault. Take your time and cut all the way around until you have your rough sleeve. Use a cookie wheel to smoothen out the ends. Eyeball it to make sure it's flat and level. Then check to see if it's the right length. Set your sleeve aside and let's move on. Now you want to remove the sear end of your piston. Piston models can vary. Most of them just thread off. I would not use heat because you don't want to damage the plastic or nylon guide ring. If you don't want to scratch anything, put some painter's tape on before using pliers. Next, you then take your pliers or vice grips to break the sear end loose. If you do scratch the surfaces that I'm gripping here, don't worry because it won't affect the piston's operation. Once your sear end is off, you will probably have to do some modifications. This edgy piston has a lip, ledge, or whatever you want to call it. It has to be removed so we can slide a weight sleeve over it. Again, since other pistons are different, certain brands won't look exactly like this. Wrap some painter's tape around the piston on each side of the lip. This will help prevent damaging the threads for the sear end. I will say that if you have access to a lathe, this would be much easier, but I'm showing you how to do it with hand tools. Carefully rotate the piston and use your grinder wheel to grind the lip down. Take your time and grind it carefully until it's the same diameter as the rest of the piston. When you think you're close or all done removing the ledge, you can see if your weight sleeve can slide all the way onto the piston. As you can see here, it gets stuck, so let's carefully remove a little more material. Once you can slide your weight sleeve all the way on, you are done grinding. At this point you can install your guide ring and sear end. Well, there you have it, a weighted piston for your Vsr-10. This one weighs in at 75 grams. If you want to change the weight, just cut some sleeves out of another material. Here is a longer weighted piston that weighs almost 150 grams. When you find a piston weight configuration that you want to use, it's a good idea to put a dab of blue Loctite on the threads for the sear end. I also use soft jaw pliers like this to make sure everything is nice and tight. The Loctite and a good snug with pliers will prevent the sear end from coming loose during operation. Well, that pretty much wraps up this video guide. I hope you found it helpful. If you don't have the tools, equipment, or motivation for this project, you can email me for a set of weight sleeves. Be sure to check out some of my other video guides and gameplays. I'll see you next time.